The no-killing rule is pretty essential to the character of Spider-Man, as it's pretty much been his rule since day one, and that rule has been put to the test many times, with one of them most notably being the time Kingpin hired an assassin to kill Spider-Man, but the assassin ended up shooting Aunt May instead. And Aunt May being so important to Peter, as she's pretty much the only family he has left, he would seek vengeance. And the guy would literally nearly drown Kingpin with his own web fluid, later telling Kingpin that if Aunt May dies, he'll be back to finish the job. So we can all pretty much see how important family is to Peter Parker. But what if this wasn't the last time one of Spidey's deadliest foes went after his family, like maybe his wife MJ and his daughter, for instance? How far would Peter go to ensure his family's safety? Far enough to break his #1 rule? Or would he put at risk the rest of his family to preserve one moral code? As we start the story overlooking the Parker family having dinner together while Peter meddles with his web shooters at the table. MJ gives Peter a little grief about loading up web shooters at the table, but Peter says that it's been wicked busy as of late in New York, with Peter not only stopping his regular goons, but on top of that, he's also taking on Daredevils, Moon Knights, and Iron Fists too, basically carrying New York on his back. And saving all of New York is getting in the way of spending time with his family. So the next day rolls around with Peter trying to sell Spidey picks, but hears that there's something serious going on in New York, with Ben Urich showing Peter that several superheroes are showing up either dead or missing, like Moon Knight, the Punisher, and Daredevil. And so worried about what's going on with heroes dying left and right, Peter swings to the Avengers Mansion, working as a safe house for other heroes, where Spidey enters to find most other heroes held up, with Captain America laying the groundwork for what's happening and just how many others are missing. Meanwhile, Peter starts to worry that his family is in danger, to which Iron Man proposes that Peter could bring his family to the Avengers Mansion where they'd be safe. So with Iron Man allowing Peter and his family to stay, Peter calls MJ asking if her and their daughter should stay at the mansion for their own safety. But MJ thinks it's a little too sudden and wants to think it over, but puts the conversation on hold because someone's at the door. Meanwhile, Peter overhears that every villain at the Rikers maximum security prison have broken out, meaning that someone at the door could be a villain of Peter's. So while the Avengers rush off to stop the major threat, Spidey swings off as fast as he can to his apartment, praying to God his family is okay, crashing through his apartment window, screaming for his daughter Annie, only for Venom to be sitting on the couch holding his family hostage, with Venom saying that they were in the neighborhood so they thought best to drop by and see the baby for themselves. But in a split second, Spidey hits Venom with everything he's got in one punch so that Venom will let go of his family, with Peter himself saying he's never hit anyone this hard before in his life, as Spider-Man repeatedly hits Venom left and right, giving everything he's got, yelling for MJ to get out of the building, with MJ running out of the building, even screaming for help from the Avengers as they pass over, but the Avengers have bigger fish to fry. So MJ thinks of another way to be safe, so instead she follows a fire truck because fire is Venom's #1 weakness. Meanwhile, Venom notices MJ riding on the side of the fire truck, angering him because he still wants to play with his new toy, as Spider-Man follows on to protect his family. Later on, the fire truck stops at a burning building, with all the firefighters exiting the truck, thinking this lady holding her daughter on the back of their truck is a little crazy, until Venom leaps down in front of them all, to which MJ turns on the fire truck siren, weakening Venom just enough to allow Spidey to get a big hit in on Venom, as Spider-Man lands a barrage of hits on Venom, bearing the pain, just desperately trying to lead Venom into the burning building, with the two trading blows, as Venom says that even if Peter does win this fight, he'll always come back, and maybe if Venom gets lucky, one of these times, he'll eat his daughter as Spider-Man watches on. However, while fighting, MJ yells that they're the only two people left in that burning building, and with Peter knowing that, he thinks about his options and decides to drop the whole building on Venom, knowing it will most likely kill him, as the whole building caves in, with Spider-Man barely making it out himself, with him reuniting with his family while Eddie and the symbiote die in the fire. And on that day, Peter Parker looked at everything that happened that night and what could have happened to his family, and decided on that day that his family was 10 times more important to him than being Spider-Man if it means they'll always be safe, with Peter Parker content that the world might not be a perfect one, but he looks after himself and his family, which is all that matters. Ending the story. I hope you guys like this story, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the flip side.